Today's top 5, my favorite gifts received as a child for Christmas.
I didn't only get Star Wars toys. I've done this bit like 7 times now, man. This is Melvor's Chewy. It is now.
It is now.
Oh, it's Friday night. I don't know what I'm gonna do tonight. I could sit here and pick my nose while I watch a brand new video. Whoa, Top 5 Friday tonight. Yeah, nugget our from us. Get our from us. Whoa, you did. Never so. I'll also not get this. Yeah, this is like man up one. Yeah, did our stew.
Board games. Why board games? Board games are a classic present. Who doesn't love board games, especially kids? Especially in my house when you had 5 other people to play with. Love getting board games, whether they were mine or not, because we still got to play them.
I'd put number 5 for me as something that was a complete surprise. Usually I was always getting like Transformers and GoBots and stuff like that, but this one really stands out in that era. My parents got me like this oil paint set, and it was like all artsy and stuff. And I guess they realized that I knew I liked to draw because I was doing that kind of stuff in kindergarten, 1st and 2nd grade. And I really started to get pretty good with like watercolors and oil paints and stuff. And I dabble in it from time to time. I was really doing it heavily in high school, but that was probably because of my parents actually getting me that set and starting me on that path.
I remember getting all the classics growing up. Monopoly, Life, Guess Who. One of my favorites, and one that me and my brothers actually played a lot of, was Categories. We got that one when we were a little bit older, which made it, in my opinion, just a little bit more fun. And when I say older, I was probably 11, 12, playing Categories. One of our favorites was, let's say the letter was T, and things that had tails, and we would put like Timothy's girlfriend. if the letter fit and was one of our names, we would always have fill in the blanks girlfriend right there. Action figures. No action figures specifically, but just all the action figures. I remember when I was really, really young getting He-Man figures, then it went to G.I. Joe figures, and then to Ninja Turtles figures, and especially some of the other lines that were maybe a little less known. Stuff like Army Ants, Grunts, Silverhawks, Battle Beasts. Battle Beasts were kind of popular at the time, but still not as popular as other things like G.I. Joe and Transformers.
So number 4 on my list is actually Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, the arcade game. I was so hyped for this thing coming out. I was such a huge fan of the arcade game. We'd go to Chuck E. Cheese and play it. I know I've told the story plenty of times. And I ended up asking for it when the game was going to be coming to the NES. And my grandmother got me it, and it was under her tree. And she didn't actually bother putting boxes within other boxes. You knew you were getting an NES game because she would just wrap it directly. So it was the shape of the NES game. And I would always peek. And as soon as I opened up a little corner and saw orange, I knew exactly what it was. And it was such an awesome Christmas.
Number 3, the Mobile Command Center. This is definitely one of my top 5 G.I. Joe vehicles in general. What I liked about this, it was a 3-tiered mobile command center that, well, it moved, hence mobile. And the thing folded out into 3 different levels, and you could actually use it. It doubled up as a storage for all of your G.I. Joe figures.
80s toys, like Transformers and G.I. Joe, stuff like that. I mean, there's no way I could really point out and do a specific toy at number 3 in that whole line and say like Optimus Prime or Megatron or Starscream or General Hawk or the Night Raven or all the G.I. Joe toys. I just, there's no way to rank them. And so I'm just gonna kind of group all those together because every year for about 2 to 3, 4 years maybe, I was getting all kinds of those things. Back then they were cheap. You can get them really super cheap. And so, I was the only kid This was even like before my sister. So, and when I say the only kid, I mean like the only kid in our immediate family. So aunts, uncles, grandparents, great-grandparents, they had no children to buy anything for other than me. So I got swamped with tons of figures, GoBots, Transformers. I mean, just up the ass. They're still in my ass, like right now. Like, damn, I really need a prop, like a GoBot or something. See, like right now, piece of a Transformer. Wait, who's this guy? I forget who this guy is.
Christmas in '93, I opened up a box, and what is revealed behind that wrapping paper? A Sega Genesis. Yes, I know I got a Sega Genesis late in the game, but I still got a Sega Genesis. It doesn't matter. And with that, I was really big into sports games at the time. I got Team USA basketball. I got Bulls versus Lakers. I got a couple of, obviously it came with Sonic. That was first time we'd ever had any kind of Genesis console, period. We didn't do the Master System thing, but number 2, definitely Genesis.
Okay, so number 2 on my list, I was one of the unfortunate few that ended up getting the USS Flag, the G.I. Joe USS Flag. And for those of you who don't know, that's the huge, gigantic, bigger than me. You could stack 2 of me on top of each other, and it still wouldn't have been as big as this flag. It's the aircraft carrier. So my dad played a trick on me. That was my gift that year, and he made it look like I didn't get anything. So I woke up and there was nothing in the living room, nothing whatsoever, and I'm like, wow, I must have been really bad this year. And he said that I was, and I believed him because I probably was. But no, I looked out on the patio, and this thing had to sit out on the patio because it was just too big for the house. So I got a Christmas present that was too big for the house. But every time I'd go outside under the patio, I'd have the USS Flag there. And let me tell you, nothing will get you friends in the neighborhood quicker than having the USS Flag, because I swear I became so popular after that. Frankie, the kid next door, there was really a big asshole. No, he's my best friend after that. And funny enough, he stopped being my best friend when I got rid of the flag. But hey, I'm sure that was a coincidence.
I'm not looking. It's your stupid ass.
Like right now, I have.
You dumb is what you have.
God, son of a bitch. Funny that his top one was the Genesis, because my top one is the Super Nintendo. So for. Funny that his. Damn it. Okay, so number 1 for me has got to be the Super Nintendo, and that's because, all the children. At this point, I'm 14 or whatever, and all the children, we wanted to just pull our resources together and say, Grandma, don't get us all individual presents, just pull the money, all the family come together and get us one big, giant Super Nintendo with some games, and that's what our Christmas gift for everyone would be. For me and Chris, that was great. My sister and my other cousin, they didn't really were into it, but, they kind of got screwed, but we didn't care. We convinced them that it was the right move, and I think they just went along with it. But this was such an awesome Christmas. Super Nintendo with Castlevania and Contra and Mario World. I mean, it was the best Christmas in the entire world. Name one person on the planet that's had a better Christmas than that. I'll wait.
Number 1, the Cobra Terrordrome. Now what this was the Cobra base. This thing was massive. It was big. Stood about yay tall, about yay wide. This thing is definitely on my top 5's toy list. It is actually my most sought after toy to date. I don't have one. I especially don't have the one I grew up with. This thing is the base amongst bases. This thing is, it's a beautiful piece of art.
I know this is a list about top toys or presents that we got, but I have to mention like one of the worst that I got, and that was Pound Puppies. And I still don't understand that whatsoever. I literally had no indication whatsoever to my parents that I had any interest in a Pound Puppy. I think what it was is because I was begging for an actual real dog, and my mother thought, well, this is the next best thing. I wake up on Christmas morning and there's a Pound Puppy right there. But to make matters worse, there's one from my sister too. So in my mind, I'm like, wow, you just got me a girl's toy. And that year I got Pound Puppies. I still remember it to this day, and it was bad. It was really bad. Thanks, Mom.
Look, I'm going to be honest, guys. We talk about this a lot on this channel, but all of those toys, most of our toys growing up for Christmas came from Toys for Tots. Without them, poor kids like myself would not have had Christmas at all. So if you guys are more fortunate than others out there, please give to the cause. Find your local Toys for Tots donation center and drop a toy or two off.